Hi friends, welcome back to another wonderful day of online learning. I hope you guys all enjoyed your long weekend, and today is an exciting day because we once again are going to be reading a new story. So as you guys see on the screen, the story that we're going to read today about is going to be about Jackson Pollock, who we learned before is an abstract painter. He painted differently than anyone else by using his own creativity. And similar to the little girl you guys see in the picture, he would walk around the canvas. So the canvas is what painters, is like the blank slate that painters paint on. So that white square that she's painting on is the canvas. She walks around the canvas and she lets the paint fall however it's going to make its own shape on the canvas. And we're gonna learn more about that today while we talk about Jackson Pollock. So keep this picture and what we've talked about before with Jackson Pollock in your brain. Some other things that we want to review are the book that we're going to start reading today is another type of historical fiction. Last time when we read When Marion Sang, we know that that book was also an example of historical fiction. I have a little clip of the first page of the book, and I'll read it out loud so that after we can talk about why it's historical fiction. So on this page it says, some of this account is imagined. So if we know if it's imagined, that the author made some of it up. We don't know if the sequence of events during the months of May and June 1950, when Jackson Pollock painted Lavender Mist, was exactly as we have described it. So they know that in real life that there was a painter named Jackson Pollock, that he was painting between May and June of 1950, and that the name of one of his most famous paintings that we're going to see in our book was Lavender Mist. But not everything might have happened exactly the way that we see it in the book or in the order. We do have many firsthand reports about the summer when he made so many of his great paintings, his life in Springs, the way he dressed, the way he talked and walked, and most important, the way he painted. And on those, we have based our story. So already we know that while the author has made some of the things up in this story, like maybe the order of events or exactly what he did every day, some of the things we're going to read about are true, like the way that he dressed, the way that he talked, and of course, the way that he painted. So we have this mix. On one hand, we have things that we know the author imagined, and on the other hand, we know that there are things that are true in this story. So both of those things combined make it a historical fiction story, meaning that the story is created by an author that is imaginary, but the setting, many of the details are based on real historical facts, in this case about the famous Jackson Pollock. We also want to take the time to review some new words that we're going to see in this story and that are going to be important for us to understand. When we run across words that we don't know, it's important that we remember these vocabulary strategies. The one that we're really going to focus on is plugging it in. We will practice the plug it in strategy for when we have a new word later in this lesson, but in the meantime, let's talk about the word original. The word original is an idea that is unique, which means that it's different because nothing else like it has ever been created before. So think about the first person to do something. Those are people who have original ideas because their ideas are different, like nothing anyone has seen before. So you can even think in the picture that you guys see all those blue people. The red person, it could be an example of someone who is original because they're different. They're different than all of the other blue people. They're original. Another important word that we're going to talk about in the story is gesture. So in the picture, you guys see that there's different hands, and the hands are moving different ways. The different ways the hands move mean different things because a gesture is a body movement that shows something. So for example, if you see the picture that looks like this, you know that the hands are clapping. If you see the picture that looks like this with the two fingers, that means that they're clicking. Or you even see one where they're shaking hands. We know that clicking, clapping, and shaking hands are all very different things. But they are all gestures because they are all body movements that show us something. And with that, in just a second, we are going to talk about our objective for today, and then we are going to dive into our new story. I hope you guys are excited and keep these new words that we learned in mind. See if you catch them later on in our story.